What's going on, everybody? Happy bye-week Wednesday. This is Aaron's Sith Lord edition, just in case y'all are wondering. It's me. It's Raj. We're here. It's Wednesday. You know what we're going to talk about. A certain player that got signed to the 49ers, like the other day that, might help us win a championship, might not. I don't know. Before we get going, I just want to say what's up to Raj. How you doing, man?
It's actually Thursday, but I'm doing good.
Oh, that's right. Because we were supposed to stream last night, and
Yeah.
that didn't happen. So,
Yeah,
but
all
we're
good.
here. It's still somewhat relevant news to talk about Chase Young. So,
Absolutely.
that's what we're here to do. What's up, chat? For the few of you who are in here right now, Debtopia, she says, "Hey Raj, we got VZ 408. Raj gang, let's go." Pablo says it's time. You know it.
It's time, baby.
Tej Beat says you're. I don't know what that means, but I'm gonna go with it. My guy my guy Bash is in here. Bash, I got an idea. I think you need to make a food truck that has pizza and kebabs, and literally call the food truck Pizza and Kebabs, and make your bomb ass pizza and your kebabs. And I think you will be rolling in the cash. Just saying, but that's just me. Julius Calloway says Chase Young revenge season on Trevor Lawrence from 2019. Frank Tom Motion, old time, long time on my channel. Thank you so much. And we got Loop Perez in here. She says hit that like. Definitely. So the news, the most recent news was the signing or the trade for Chase Young. Man, I was sweating bullets. I was watching, I think it was like 20-3 my time, which is about an hour and 20 minutes left. And I'm like, they ain't going to make no moves, man. Like, really? And then I saw, I literally backed out of Twitter, came back. It had happened. I made sure I verified it. You put it up. Everybody else put it up, Breezy, everybody. So I was like, all right, it's real. Then there was that tweet right after saying they're not done yet. They're going to get himself a corner. And I was like, ooh, 2 players. Unfortunately, we only got one, but we got a pretty damn good one in Chase Young. So what's your thoughts, man? What's a couple days to marinate on it? I know you've made, multiple streams that talked about it, but I want to steal that again, even though you've already said it. How you feeling about it?
Man, oh man, was I high? I'm still living on a high off that. It felt as great as it was last year when they made that move for Christian McCaffrey. Like, I was juiced. Although last year I was at home and it was, I got to celebrate. I wanted to come home so bad and like talk about it. I was at work and everybody at work knows, I'm the Niner guy. They're like, oh my God. Actually, I was finishing up with the patient the whole morning. I'm like refreshing my phone. I'm like, God damn it, they're not gonna make a move. What's John Lynch doing? Is he sleeping on the job? Like, what's going on? Because we kept getting rumors. He kept every week, day leading up to that week, it was, they're looking to get an edge rusher and a quarterback. And I'm refreshing. Montez Sweat goes. I'm like, oh my God, are they going to get Chase Young? Are they going to get Chase Young? And then actually, I didn't see the notification. I'm about to sit down. I had just finished up a patient. And then my coworker, he's like, Raj, you better post this now. You better go live. I was like, what are you talking about? He goes, Chase fucking Young. I was like, oh my God. I looked. I was like, oh my God. It was like 11:40 my time, right when it hit. And I'm just like freaking out. Ran outside the door and I'm like going live. I'm like, oh my God, Chase Young. So money move. It was great. Me and you have sat here months on end saying, get this team another edge rusher. And they finally did it. They must have listened to us, Aaron.
Listen to one of our streams.
I'm telling you, I was hyped.
The algorithms that so hate me on YouTube that never, post my streams or videos decided to just show up in John Lynch's mailbox.
I think so.
3:30 Eastern time. And he was like, you know what? That nerdy guy with the weird voice and that other guy that streams with them, that Raj guy, I think they're right. I'm going to move on this. It sounds like he was the guy all along, though.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It was never Montez Sweat.
Yeah, I was reading all the updates. I was listening to KMBR, I was listening to John. He says, he's been talking to Matt Mayhow, the GM of the Washington, and he used to be with the Niners front office. So like they know each other. They've been talking, and I'm sure Kyle, he calls up his former coaches, D'Amico, Salah, Rand Carthon in Tennessee. I'm sure he calls all those guys up and, wants to do business with them because it's good business. You're doing business with former, front office members. So he calls them, and they said that, well, he's been looking after Chase Young for a while. And then Rand's like, yo, what about Montez Sweat? What about Montez Sweat? And I think it makes sense that he didn't go after Montez. Not that he didn't want him, but if you get Sweat, it's going to be a long-term thing. You got to extend him because Sweat's not trying to go to a team where he's, not really going to be this guy that's not going to get paid. Although going to Chicago was kind of, obviously it's not his choice, but he wants to get paid a lot. And I think the Niners know that. And not only that, giving up the second-round pick, I don't think was what they wanted to do, is giving up a second-round pick, because they need to keep those premium picks, first round, second round, because Trent Williams, who knows how long he's going to be with the team. Several other players, you got to be able to retool this team. Maybe a cornerback, who knows what they need, in the
Maybe
future.
They replace a wide receiver and they let
BA.
they trade BA.
Maybe. So they needed to keep those premium picks, and that's kind of why they didn't go after Montez Sweat. But this Chase Young's still great. You get him for a third round pick, which is a comp pick basically for the 49ers, which they get all the time. They get the comp pick back from Mike McGlinchey, all the coaches they've lost it. So for them, it was a no-brainer. And I think that's what they were trying to do with a cornerback, because like you said earlier, there was that tweet where there was like, oh my God, Tim Kawakami was like, they're not done. And there was rumors leading up to that day, that they're going for a cornerback. They tried. Lynch talked about it. He says they just didn't get the one that they wanted for the value, right? Like Jalen Johnson, the Bears wanted a first or a second. The 49ers weren't going to give up a first or a second. And again, those are guys that are going to be more expensive, not just this season and further if you're going to, extend them. So they got Chase Young for less than $500,000. So that's a steal right there. You get him for a third round pick, $500,000. It's a win-win, a high reward, low risk situation. It was a money move by John Lynch. That was a genius move.
Tej Beats, you were reading my mind. I want to ask you about this, Bash. He says Chase will resign. I promise. He won't find talent anywhere else. Talent anywhere else. Plus, he's injury prone. Geez, that's a ringing endorsement. I'm just messing with you, Tej. But what is, like? I know we haven't even finished this season. You think there's any chance they would? Did I just call you Bash? Your name's Raj.
Bash, Raj. We both Middle East. We cool.
God, you guys get off my mind. Do you think there's any chance that he would resign? You think there's a way?
I think there's definitely a chance for him to resign. I don't think it's just a rental. I mean, obviously, I think that's what they're looking right now to see if he can, be the juice to get him over the hump. But I think that if all goes well, depending on how the offseason goes, depending on who doesn't resign with this team, I think he's a guy that they could bring back. I think that Nick Bosa might have a big hand in keeping him around, because this was also a move, I think, not just for the 49ers, to inject some life into them because of the 3-game losing streak, get him over the hump. I think it was a move for Nick Bosa. Nick Bosa's wanted to play with Chase Young since college days. Like, that was the cool thing, is he reunited Bosa and Chase Young, right? And one of the things that John Lynch said yesterday on KMBR, he says, honestly, Nick told me, go get this guy, get this man. He's a big, big time money player. You'll be happy. So he goes, if Nick gives him an endorsement, that means something. So I think a lot of this will be, justified by Nick Bosa. He's getting paid a lot of money. And if you want to make him happy, and, if Nick Bosa's stats get better and you can correlate that with Chase Young, then I think, yeah, you're going to re-sign Chase Young. But I think this was a very high reward, low risk type move. I know people are, saying he's injury prone. They said the same thing with CMC last year, but, he really hasn't been hurt. One time he had the oblique injury, but played right through it. I think Chase, he's having the best career season of his career. Obviously, it's a contract year for him, so he's trying to play at the top of his level. But, man, he has 5 sacks right now, Aaron. That's more than anybody on the 49ers. Money.
That's sad. This Niners defense has me in all sorts of a bad mood. Let's talk a little bit about the secondary. So the talk was that they could make a move, and there was going to be 2 moves, and then it didn't happen. Like you said, it was too much for Jalen Johnson. I saw a tweet yesterday that was quoting John Lynch from an interview, I would assume on KNBR, and he said that both Darrell Luter and um, and Samuel Womack have their windows to, practice opening very soon.
Mm-hmm.
And then they moved a couple of corners off the team. They moved Anthony Brown and they moved Ambry Thomas. He's no longer with us. Is there a chance we get both Luter and Womack back? Do you know any specifics?
I don't think it was Ambry. I think it was Kendall Sheffield. It was Sheffield, the other.
I could have sworn it said Ambry got released.
Oh, no, not that I know of. It was Anthony Brown. You're right. They did.
Maybe somebody tweeted the wrong name. I swear on my life.
They probably did, because I remember seeing the news, Niners reporting it. Of course, we tweeted out. So Anthony Brown was released, so they had space to sign Chase Young, and then Sheffield was released off the practice squad because they brought in an offensive lineman to the practice squad. That was the corresponding move for those. Now the other part is, you're right. Sam Womack and Darrell Luter were the other two guys that they mentioned that they're on the verge of returning from their injury designation. So yeah, those are two guys that John Lynch yesterday he mentioned on KNBR. We tweeted it out as well, that he expects to come back. So I feel like, yes, they didn't get a cornerback, but I think they also knew they had two young guys hopefully coming back. And I mean, at this point, you can't be any worse than Isaiah Oliver has
oh my
been.
God.
But I think the other thing is too, which I know a lot of people have mentioned, is Steve Wilks. This now with all this talent. I mean, he had a lot of talent before, but now he has even more. There's literally no excuse for Steve Wilks to wet the bed now. And if you really watch these games, he puts the players in bad positions. Diamond Lenore playing man-to-man with no pass rush. He's going to get burned a couple times if you're not playing smart coverage, right? And then they play that weird soft zone. Then you're just blitzing everybody. It's Steve Wilks' scheme has been so bad because it's the same defensive players that they pretty much had last year, which was number one in the NFL. And you added Javon Hargrave, which is an upgrade. So, to me, it's just the scheme. It's not necessarily the players, although they need to make their tackles.
Yes. I don't understand how, on the offseason, the talk was, well, everything is the reason they went for Wilks is because he's not going to change anything. And he's going to come in here and it's going to be more of the same defense, but maybe some tweaks in the secondary. And it just looked nothing short of abysmal. Like, what defense? Who is this? Like, I was reading a tweet during the game against the Bengals where someone said, I never thought I would get to the point where I'd be praying and hoping just for the defense to get one stop. Just one. And we can't even get that now. Like that last drive before the end of the game where they essentially iced it going up 31-17. Defense looked gassed. They looked gassed. They looked like they didn't care. They just wanted to get to the bye week and, go to sleep for a couple days and rest. Man.
Yeah, they look lost.
This is probably the worst I've felt about the 49ers in a long time as a fan. Like, I'm not super positive right now. Even with the signing of Chase Young, I have my doubts.
Okay.
Both offensive and defensive. Brock's been struggling, and I kind of called it. I'm not trying to be one of those people like I said it was going to happen. I said that he was going to hit a patch this year because everybody does, right?
Yeah.
I just didn't think it would be right at the end of games when we needed him to play big, and he's kind of been, for lack of a better term, he's kind of choked a little bit. And it sucks because I'm a big Brock Purdy apologist, and it hurt my heart watching him struggle. I'm just like, man, if he can't do it, shit, like Darnold, like, nah.
No. I was worried about Brock these last couple of weeks. I mean, we can't sit here and say he was great. We can't sit here and say he didn't stink the bed up. He played good at stretches, but you're right. In the fourth quarter, money time, he just kind of fell apart, and that's something we haven't seen from him. It's kind of uncustom, right? From what we've seen so far in the short time span he's been with the 49ers, yeah, he's looked great, and we're not used to him struggling. But I think you're right. Every quarterback's can go through these moments. It's normal, right? He's young. He's essentially a rookie, right? He's played the equivalent of a rookie season if you really think about it. And young players, they hit that wall, right? And I think that's what it is. He hit the wall. He never really played through having to come back. He's always usually had the lead. So I think those are things he's got to learn from. Teams had film on him. He also didn't have Trent Williams in there. And to me, I don't think people talk about that enough when they're assessing Brock Purdy and his abilities. You don't have Trent Williams, man. That defensive line is going to eat you alive, and they have been. You can get rid of the ball quick, but if you don't have your best lineman, it's tough for the pass protection. Not only that, but running the ball. We all love CMC, but the lanes are smaller. They're only averaging like 3 yards a carry or less. They're not getting the big gashes. And, left side is still a little bit better. Jalen Moore is definitely better than Colton McKivitz. Colton McKivitz is absolutely terrible, man. They did a disservice by not getting a right tackle this offseason in the draft or whatever.
Hell, we could have got Leroy Watson. Give him get a chance at right tackle.
Leroy got poached today by the Browns.
I know he did.
Yeah.
I saw that.
That's rough, man. I feel like at the end of the day, man, it does suck, but I think he'll bounce back. He's young. You can only expect him to get better. But, he is a young quarterback. If he doesn't pan out, then, they'll look and figure things out. But I think they have confidence in him. He's going to go through a rough stretch. We'll see how he pulls out of the funk, because he still has good stats if you really look at everything in the grand scheme of things. And, again, that last game, he was kind of rolling until that fourth quarter came. The game before, obviously, concussion, and he was doing great again until that point, and then he kind of fell apart. So, yeah, he's made mistakes, but I want to see how he bounces back from those mistakes. He definitely has had a rough patch right now. But, again, not having Trent Williams has been massive for this team. And then the other guy, Deebo Samuel, not being on this team. And I told you a couple weeks ago, I remember saying that. I said, Deebo's so important. People don't realize it. I said, as much as I love BA, Deebo is so important to this offense, the way he kind of sets things up before the play, and we're witnessing it. They're only scoring 17 points a game on offense these last 3 games, and I think a lot of that has to do with Deebo. And luckily today, he told Kay Adams on her Up and Adams show that he's feeling good. He's good to go. So luckily that's great for the 49ers. We need Deebo Samuel. We'll see if he returns to practice next week, but he says he's feeling good. But it all depends on when he comes back to practice and the pads are on, see if he's still feeling good. But that's good news. It's a good update. Niners desperately need Deebo. They finally figured out that George Kittle could catch the ball. They got him the ball. That was good. And Brandon Ayuk still dropping big passes, man. I love BA, but if he wants that number one receiver money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you want to be the guy, you got to come up big in big moments. You can't be dropping passes.
Yeah.
Julius Callaway had a great question. He says, Raj and Aaron, thoughts on the Niners only giving up 2/3 and 1/5 round picks for Trent Williams and Chase Young?
Oh, it's crazy, man. That's great talent. Like, if I'm the Niners, I want John Lynch to continue doing business with Washington, man. That is crazy to me.
I just want to say, I'm not giving up on Brock. I thought he played well in the last game too, up until the end. And I haven't jumped off the bandwagon. I saw a comment that says, he went 12-0, and it only took him to go 0-3 for people to, give up on him. I didn't give up on him. I'm a cynical fan who, it's funny. I'm super cynical as a fan, but I got really, really positive and man, this team can't lose. Brock's never going to have a bad game. That was my mentality. And then reality set in, and I'm back to my normal, super negative, oh, bother, Eeyore from Winnie the Pooh, always a negative thing to say about the Niners. I really was shocked that they dropped 3 straight. I thought the Browns game was a game to be had, and I thought the Vikings game was a game to be had. I thought the Bengals game, probably back in March, was going to be, or April, whenever the schedule dropped, was going to be a game where the Niners dropped.
Yeah.
Guys, I had to wrap my mind around this. I was mad, and then defense played like absolute garbage. But I personally said Burrow for MVP this year.
Mm-hmm.
He looked nothing short of amazing. They're loaded on offense. They can very well be in the Super Bowl this year. If their defense could play even a little bit against Kansas City and pick off some of those errant throws from, that Mahomes has been throwing this year, don't be surprised if the Bengals are back in the bowl this year. They got the Jaguars look good. The AFC's loaded. I think the NFC's kind of top heavy as usual, but
yeah, I agree with
that. The
Niners
have their future in front of them. There's nothing but like what it says, no time like the present to come out after the bye week and start reeling off wins against teams you should beat.
Yeah, this is
Jacksonville
prime.
you should beat.
Yeah.
Cardinals you should beat. There's other teams in there. Steal one from Seattle, maybe both, but the Niners have too much talent to be struggling like this. I'm so sorry.
Absolutely. This team, like we said, weeks and weeks and weeks, when this team was 5-0, we were sitting here saying special vibes, the Super Bowl roster. It's still a Super Bowl roster. Nothing's changed. They got better with Chase Young. I think this is going to be the shot of adrenaline that they needed. It was a pick-me-up. I think they got a little bit too cocky. Maybe, again, we talked about this last week. Teams were not fearing the Niners. They're not the big, bad Niners anymore. And I think this move was the 49ers saying, all right, we're retooling. You need to fear us. And also they got to keep up with other teams because Seattle made a big trade, right? They went and got a big defensive lineman, Leonard Williams. And then Philly made a big trade. They got, all pro safety. So Niners needed to keep up and keep making the moves. And it's an arms race, right? We always say it every trade season, every off season, free agency season. It's an arms race. How are you going to keep up with these other teams? And then the 49ers said, hey, look, we have to get more juice for this defensive line. But really, if you really think about this defensive line and you strip it back and say, okay, you have Bosa. Obviously, he's the big man on campus. He's the money guy, right? And you have Javon Hargrave in the middle. And on Armstead, he's good against the run. He's getting paid a lot. But other than that, and everybody was touting it this offseason. And it goes back to what you and myself were saying. Everybody's like, oh, Drake Jackson, he's going to break out. Clelin Ferrell. Oh, they were losing their mind over Clelin Ferrell, Austin Bryant. And, some of these guys on this team, Kalia Davis, who's never played it down in the NFL. He had a torn ACL.
I got chastised because I was hard on it. I just wasn't believing in Drake Jackson. Everyone's like, Aaron, we don't need anybody else. Not everybody we need, right?
I was sitting there on Larry Kruger's show, and I was like, I don't know, man. Drake Jackson has a lot of pressure on his shoulders. Kyle called him out last year. The man couldn't finish a full season. And you expect this man to be the second coming of Jesus?
He has no pass rush moves. He has no pass rush moves.
I know.
All I see is this. All I see is this. Hey, guys, look at me. Yeah, he's doing Mr. Roboto. Like, what's going on here?
Is he a mime? Like, bro, I love the guy.
And then he gets like a random bat down, and we're all supposed to be like, oh, yeah. Like, nah, dude, I'm cool.
That's what I'm
Silverado
saying,
Kev,
man.
Thank you for coming through. Just want to say.
Yeah, my man.
Even with Chase, pressure means little to nothing with 7 to 10 yard cushions and have holes to sit in soft zones. Tighten up the coverage, and those pressures become sacks.
Absolutely.
100%. Why is the chat talking about Drago and Apollo and Rocky? What is happening right now? Let's keep it on football, people. Come on. Oh, by the way, if you're watching on Raj's channel, you can come over and watch on my channel. And if you're watching on my channel, you can go over and watch on Raj's channel. We're dual streaming right now. Make sure you like, share, comment, subscribe. If you haven't on both channels, helps the algorithms find us. Raj recently had to create a new channel, and he's still trying to get his numbers up to where they were on his old channel. So to make sure you jump on that, all you have to do is click on. I have his his channel in my description. So if you click on it, it takes you right to his channel. So
yeah, I want to speak on what Silverado Kev says. He goes, even with Chase, right? Pressure means little to nothing. And the 49ers are getting pressure. It's not that they're not. Like, if you read PFF every week, you take that stuff with a grain of salt. If you look at all, every week, Niner content creators will post their stats. Oh, look at the pressures. Look at the pressures. Look at the pressures. It doesn't mean anything. If he's absolutely right. If you're giving them this big cushion, and that's what I said earlier when we started the show today, is that soft coverage, that soft zone. They need to quit with that shit. Tighten it up. But then the problem is when they do call like a tight coverage, then they're all blitzing. And that's the thing, is Steve Wilks has no like situational football knowledge, man. He blitzes at the wrong time. He pulls soft zone coverage at the wrong time. And absolutely, you need to make sure your coverage is tight. Like, you've got to pin your ears back and only send 4. That's the 49ers defense over the last couple of years. Send 4, rush 4, and cover. Cover 4, you cover, you sit back and you cover, and you rush the 4. That's all you need to do. That's 49ers football. Richard Sherman said it this week, man. Absolutely.
Question to you. With Gregory on the team as well, do they install a NASCAR package and blitz like Hargrave, Gregory, Bosa, Chase Young, and just have them.
Absolutely. I think not all. I think they install it. You gotta keep teams on their toes. You have to implement it. You have to kind of change it up because you don't want to tire anybody out. And I think that's what makes the 49ers defensive line great when they are great, is they have that ability to, switch between players, rotate. Okay, here comes a NASCAR package. Okay, here comes the speed off the edge, just like they did a couple years back, 2019. That's what they did. I wish D Ford would have stayed healthy, but man, when they were clicking on all cylinders, that's what they did. Pin the ears back. Bosa's flying off the edge. D Ford flying off the edge. That's what the Niners need to do. And you could sometimes you have Bosa stunting out, and everybody's like, "Oh, here comes Bosa," and the offensive line is gonna fan towards him. But guess what? Instead of going around this side like everybody thinks he's gonna do, he can stunt and boom, cut inside. That's what D'Amico used to do, and this man Steve Wilks is not doing it. He's letting him get the fan that the offensive line is going to do. They're anticipating Bosa to come around, and he's not doing anything different. He's letting them anticipate, and they're absolutely right on their anticipation. He's messing up, man. So, yeah, Silverado Kev's absolutely right. Tighten up coverage. Don't need to blitz everybody, and stop running that soft zone. Like, it's in the word itself. Soft zone. Soft is soft. Don't be soft. I hate it.
Be hard, people. Be hard. Pause.
Yeah, pause.
Drake Jackson, I don't think he's ever going to see the field again. Unless it's garbage time. What was I going to say?
He'll rotate, but yeah, he is doghoused, I think, at this point.
This is a question I'll ask you. Negatively speaking, if we're talking negative, if the Niners defense continues to struggle, does Wilks make it to the end of the season as the D coordinator?
No, man. I think at this point, if you have this, that's what I wanted to talk about, because I'm glad you brought that up. Earlier on today on Instagram,
You're welcome.
Thank you. I posted a picture of all the defensive players. Like, let's sit here and talk about it. Okay, you have all pros. You have Talanoa Hufanga. You got Mooney Ward, who they paid a lot of money for. And everybody's saying he's terrible right now. He's getting cooked out there because of what Kev said, is the fact that they're not playing tight coverage, right? So you got Mooney Ward. You got Dre Greenlaw, Fred Warner, Nick Bosa, Chase Young, Javon Hargrave, Art Armstead, okay? That's just to name a few of the guys. Like, those are great players. Deshaun Gibson, okay? If you cannot have this defense at least a top five at the very least, okay? That's the very least. They should be a top 3 defense. If you are getting dog walk like you've been doing, if you're getting beat the way you've been getting beating right now, and you don't make the playoffs, absolutely fire him. If you make the playoffs and you've switched things around with Chase Young now on this defense, okay, maybe you get a chance to breathe. But this right now is putting Steve Wilks in the biggest hot seat right now. If you can't figure this out with all that talent, if you can't figure it out, your ass is grass. Get him out of here, because I'm not sitting here to wait for him to pan out. Like, I'd
rather have a combination of Kasurik and Johnny Holland run this defense than him right now.
Something like, I know it took Salah a little bit of time, but there's no excuse. Salah didn't have the talent that we have right now. It took him a little time until they built that talent, and then he took off. Right? Look what he's doing with the Jets. Even when he took over that team, the defense was great, and he put them together because he figured out how to become a defensive coach. D'Amico Ryans, same thing. He had all the talent, and he coached his defense so well. This man, Steve Wilks, has been handed. He's been handed a plethora of defensive talent, and you're telling me that you can't figure out how to get them in the right position. If they don't make the playoffs, Aaron, he will be one of the first moves the Niners do. I will sit here and tell you, if the 49ers don't make the playoffs with this defensive roster, within 24 hours, John Lynch and Kyle Shanahan will fire that man.
Yeah, because they just got extensions, so someone's got to fall on the sword. The Niners always have themselves a fallback guy just in case things don't work out.
Yeah.
Jimmy Garoppolo getting hurt. Jimmy Garoppolo getting hurt again. Other things happening, mostly people getting hurt, like that 2020 season where everyone was injured.
Yeah, but I like what Randy says here. He says all that talent, no injuries. That's the key. You just said all the scapegoat reasons were injuries. 49ers defense has been pretty damn healthy. Okay, aside from a Dre Greenlaw hamstring week, you still should have been able to dominate with this defense. Like, don't give me that. You mean to tell me that you don't have Dre Greenlaw for 1 week and you could not stop the run? Like, come on. And then last week, you did have Dre Greenlaw. Joe Burrow was running all over this defense. Like, that tells me everything I need to know. Joe Burrow had more rushing yards than Christian McCaffrey. Hello. When he had that QB draw on 3rd and 9, I've said this a lot this week. I used this play for a big example. It's 3rd and 9. 3rd and 9, Aaron. And you let Joe Burrow, quarterback, draw you for a first down.
And there's nobody there. Nobody.
So
there isn't a guy within 15 yards. What are you doing?
I was sick, man.
Oh my God. Dude, the last 3 weeks have brought up the old me. Like, I'm internally just like, mother, or you. Yeah, I was like, I hope they got to injure him. They got to injure him. Yeah. Somebody take his leg out. Like, that's the only chance we have.
Bro.
This is insane.
Man, can you believe that? 3rd and 9, dude.
And then, you're right. Let's talk about the missed tackles. What's going on with all the players missing tackles? I don't know. Bosa, come on, man. Stay on your damn feet.
Yeah,
somebody's like, you must not like Bosa. You must hate him. No, I said it. I was like, geez, dude, stay on your feet for one play. You're always on your knees or falling over or getting steamrolled, dude. Like, what's up, man?
Well, I think part of it, like I said, he does get like triple team. Like, they're fanning everybody. They're just fanning everybody to him, and he's getting doubled. At some point, I think it takes a toll. That's A, and then B, yeah, sometimes he's not as vibrant on that line as he was before. And he said it too. He says he wished he would have went to training camp. And again, we talked about that last week where I was like, come on. But again, I think a lot of it is Steve Wilks is just not putting him in winning positions. He's not putting him in winning positions. When you're going to let him get fanned out by 3 linemen, he's going to be falling back. But you know what I noticed a lot watching the film is there was a lot of instances where he was one-on-one and he wasn't getting fanned out and double team, and he was losing on those. So yeah, that tells me that he's too tired right now. And he's, so hopefully Chase Young, now he's going to get a lot more one-on-ones. Bosa has to win on those one-on-ones, because there was one play though. And, we talked about that 3rd and 9 QB draw. You probably saw this play. This was one of the most infuriating plays. Burrow drops back. Pressure comes. Armstead could have got the sack. He shakes off him. Bosa comes around the corner, almost had the sack. I think Burrow, basically stiff-armed him off, and then he scrambles off to the side, and he completes the pass for the first down. When I saw that play, I was like, how do you not bring the quarterback down on that play? I was just like, what in tarnations? Like, is that Michael Vick you're playing against?
Donkey punch him in the freaking lower back, man. Do something. A spinning tornado kick. Knock his ass over. Man. He got away from everybody, dude. Somebody said they counted the secondary was covering for 11 seconds. This secondary has enough problems covering. Oh, excuse me. Isaiah Oliver has enough problems covering in 3 seconds. You put 11 seconds on him, and he's getting dog walked all over the field.
But that's the whole point. And like Kev said, okay, if you're not getting to the quarterback and you're letting him have time to throw, ample time to throw, 10 seconds or whatever the case is, and you're allowing your cornerbacks to sit there and have to cover for 10 seconds, and it's a soft coverage, whatever, they're going to get burned. They're going to get dusted up. Against Jamar Chase, are you kidding me? You give him a cushion. You don't want to give any receiver a cushion, but if you give a receiver like Jamar Chase a cushion, you're going to get cooked up, and that's exactly what happened. So again, tighten the coverage, drop, just rush 4 and let everybody sit back, man. It's you cover, I'll rush. You cover, I'll rush. Richard Sherman has said this when the 49ers were cooking. That's exactly what the defense was. It's cover and rush. That's all you got to do. But Steve Wilks makes it difficult. And one thing you said is the question I've been answering is, okay, when, Kyle Shanahan brought him aboard, he says the reason why we got this guy is he's not going to change the system. He's not going to change the scheme. He's definitely changed it up. He must have lied on his resume. It was all lip service. It was all lip service. Whatever he told Kyle and John, it's not been the same, man. He's changing it up, and I don't like it. And it's, I like cliches. I'm going to use one. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. Literally, nothing was broken about this defense. They were the number 1 defense, Aaron. the number one defense. What do you need to do to fix it? What do you? Nothing. It's number one defense.
It's two things. Go back to the old playbook on defense, whatever that is. If there's a dusty playbook that's sitting up in the press box, or I'm sure Raj has it on his cell phone.
I have it.
He's got connections. It says rush for cover. That's the defense.
That's literally that. Yeah.
Single high safety. You're all good.
It's all you need, bro.
And tackle.
Yeah,
and tackle. That's it. Tackle. And you win. You win a lot. I think one of the things too is I think Brock, and I want to ask you what it's going to take to fix Brock, because I feel like I don't think he's broken, or he's like, I just feel like, is it a combination of a couple things? But I think one thing is now the offense, they were scoring 35 points a game, and now they're having a little bit of problem. And in the old days, 17 to 20 points with Jimmy Garoppolo was usually enough to win some ball games. Now we're giving up, way too much. Against Minnesota, we only gave up, I think, 19, right? Or was it 22? Something like that. I forget. And, you got a young quarterback who, for lack of a better term, is just, he's still green. It's not that he got exposed. I just think, sometimes young quarterbacks struggle. I mean, Peyton Manning threw 28 interceptions his rookie year. So, and I'm not comparing him to Peyton Manning, so y'all can get off my butt. I'm just saying, like, it happens. They struggle.
Yeah.
So, with Brock, is it a combination of, the running game not doing as well? I feel like the running game needs to get reestablished off the bye week. Is it that, and maybe a mix of Debo, who I, sometimes criticize because he's hurt all the time and this, that, and the other, but I didn't realize how important he is to the offense. My brother made a good point, and then I'll let you answer. He says the way that the Niners and Dolphins both run their offenses, it's super predicated on the offense working the way that it's designed. And both teams seem to struggle when the game plan doesn't go according to plan. Kyle Shanahan has a hard time. He sent me some video, my brother, about in-game adjustments of like, okay, so Debo's not in, or this person's hurt, and like he can't adjust. The Niners are meant to be full strength, everybody playing their part a little bit on the offense, and then they look amazing, right?
Yeah.
Dolphins had the same issue because my brother, he's a Dolphins fan.
Yeah.
I think all that in combination with Brock maybe having some struggles is what I think is the real issue. Do you care to expound on that?
I think you hit the nail on the head. I think your brother's a genius, because I've said this many times. Kyle Shanahan, when he's stripped of his game plan, he's like flabbergasted. He's kind of like, because he plans so much. Like, that's his thing all week, all the installments. And you've heard Kittle talk about like how they prepare certain situations every week. This is the game plan. When that goes away, Kyle can't really coach off script in those situations. When you lose Debo, when you lose CMC, when you lose Trent Williams, when you lose players like that, it's so hard for Kyle to utilize his offense, because certain players need to be in certain spots. Like, some players can hit those plays that other players can't. Like, and I know a lot of people want to say, Ronnie Bell, why aren't they using him? I love Ronnie. I think he's going to be a big part of the future, but he can't do the things that Debo can do right now in this point of his career. Debo is so important, and I've said this so many weeks. Like, just to set up the play, all the window dressing and all that stuff, just to set up the play, Debo gets things lined up. We've seen Ray try to do it. We've seen Jennings try to do it. The plays just don't hit the same because they're not as explosive. They don't know exactly where to plant their foot. It's just leverage sometimes. It's like the Dolphins, like you said, perfect example. If you take away Tyreek Hill from that offense, they're not going to be they're going to be so limited in what they can do because of those guys being so important for setting the offense up and what they can do after the play. And I think with Brock Purdy he's struggling because he doesn't have a guy like Debo where he's that safety valve. Okay, 5-yard screen, wide receiver screen, a little dump off plays, a little slant and go. Those plays that they work on first down, it's just like the run game. You need to have the run game, which you said, to kind of open up the pass game. But those small little receiver screens, those things go a long way because when those work, you get 6 plays, 5 yards. Sometimes they can go for a 20-yard play. When you get that on first down, that's how you eat up the chains. That's how you move the ball. When Deebo Samuel gets 5 yards here, 6 yards here, guess what? It's 3rd and 2. It's 3rd and 3. Your defense is going to be a little bit harder to stop the 49ers offense. So I think that is one of the big concepts is, you don't have Debo out there. Again, Trent Williams, you're not getting the lane, so you can't run the ball. So I think those concepts are limiting Brock. And again, I think people have looked at his film and they got some answers on him, and now he just has to go back to the drawing board and figure out how to, evolve himself as a young quarterback. And that's what all young quarterbacks have to do. What can I do to be better than this defense? Let me go look at their film. So he's still learning. He's still green, like you said. But I think a lot of it has to do with just how the scheme is set up and Kyle Shanahan and his game plan. Without certain players, it's a little harder to get the ball moving. But I feel like Brock will bounce back. I like the guy. I think I have a lot of faith in Brock Purdy. And I think once Trent Williams comes back, you're going to see this run game really, really open up. And if you're running the ball and you can't stop the 49ers, then you get the play action. Then you can toss it to Kittle. Then you can throw it to BA. Hopefully he catches it. And then you can get the ball to Debo and then space and stuff. That's the thing. Debo in space is a scary man, and we need that.
Randy Daytona says, isn't it possible Brock is trying to do too much? It's why Josh Allen has so many turnovers. But it's not on Brock to take this team on his shoulders. Not yet. It's the other way around. I agree. I feel like I also think like the one thing that drives me nuts about the 49ers is they're the one thing they don't have like a drop back passing game where you could just drop back and throw.
Yeah.
Like they're like antiquated with the way they have their offense.
It's like they have to set it up, like I said.
It's all window dressing and motions, and this guy setting up this guy. I sometimes yearn for, a offense where a quarterback can drop back 45 times and throw for 500 yards and win a game. We're just not built like that. That's not the type of offense we have, and it's I get angry sometimes because it's like if Kyle's stuff isn't like to a T working, he gets completely thrown off. And I feel like in order for him to win a Super Bowl, he's going to have to find out a way to adjust to the adjustments or adjust to players being hurt and other things not working and still figure out a way to win games. I mean, the stat of it being, 1-31 or 1-30 or 1-29 in fourth quarter games where they're behind like 5 points or something.
Yeah, I saw that.
That's pathetic.
Tough, man. He has a hard time adjusting, but I mean, he's been a great coach, overall. If you really look at it, of course, all the NFC championships. But you're right. In certain situations, you take away players, and it limits him. We've seen it in the past. We've seen it in the NFC championship game a couple of years back against the Rams. Man, Debo was cooking them up, and then all of a sudden, I think they hurt him, intentionally, but they kind of shied away from Debo. I don't know if he was, nursing injury, but we didn't even see him on that fourth quarter field, and the offense fell apart. And it happens a lot with the Niners is, again, Kyle loses a certain player and then he kind of gets stymied and you're like looking at him going, what are you doing, man? And then he just makes some weird play calls and things have to be kind of right, perfect for this offense because, it's not like he has this big time gunslinger, this, drop back quarterback. Things have to be right for their quarterbacks because he doesn't use the deep pass, which you said, one of the things that we'd love to see. But I feel like, again, with Brock, like Randy said, is maybe he's trying to do too much. They are missing players. I feel like he did try to play a little hero ball here and there. And he never really has been in this position in the NFL where he had to come back until the last couple of weeks. And, the pressure ate him up, man. And that's what we got to hope that doesn't in the future because in the playoffs and if they get to the Super Bowl in those big games, it's going to be more pressure than week 6, 7, 8 against the Cleveland Browns, Minnesota Vikings, and Cincinnati Bengals. Pressure is going to be even bigger, and teams are going to have more film on you. The more he plays, the more film they have. So he's got to evolve. He's got to learn how to, trust other players other than the guys that are great on this team, and continue to figure out how to evolve as a quarterback. But, one thing is, I agree with what you said earlier. One thing you said earlier was the fact that the 49ers should have beat Cleveland and Minnesota. Those are games that you're going to look back and you're like, man, I wish we would have won those games.
Hopefully when you're vying for home field advantage, you can't drop those games.
Yeah, you can't.
And then you get to the playoffs and we lose again, and they're like, well, it really helps us if we would have gotten home field advantage. Well, you had an opportunity and you lost.
They did. They could have won all 3 of these games. And granted, I did pick them to lose. Not before the season started, when the schedule came out, just like you, I had the Bengals as their first loss of the season. The first loss, I said they were going to go into the bye week with 1 loss. there's no way I thought they were losing to Minnesota and Cleveland. I've been a little surprised. So again, yeah, it does hit hard if you're going to be in a playoff race and you're trying to get the number 1 seed. Hell, forget the number 1 seed. Win your division. Right now, Seattle's ahead of them, and Seattle looks like a really, really strong team.
The only way the Niners can deal with Seattle is they got to beat them both games.
Yeah.
That's how you take care of Seattle. You got to take care of them.
You just got to beat them both. Yeah. If you beat them both, then you don't have to worry about them.
Yep.
Yeah.
This team is very talented and loaded, and it's mind-boggling the struggles that they've had the last couple weeks.
I know, it's frustrating because you know how good they are. You know,
somebody at work who's a Niners fan, man, me and him just look at each other. We're like, "What happened?"
I know. I come into work on Tuesdays, and they just like they look at me, and I'm like, because I don't work Mondays at my clinic, so when I go into my clinic on Tuesdays, the last 3 weeks they're like, "We're not talking about it today." I say, "We're not even fucking talking about anything. Leave me alone." Like it's just like the mood is just deflated. It's just like, oh man, yeah. So they need a win. They need a win.
They need to come out of this bye week and put it to the Jaguars. I don't care if they win by 3 points. Just win.
Just win. Although the Jaguars are coming off a bye week too.
Yep, and they're good.
Yeah.
Whoever thought we would say that again? The Jaguars good.
I know.
They got a quarterback that can move too, so they.
Trevor Lawrence.
That's the one thing about Bosa that drives me crazy sometimes. It's like he's been in the league how many years and he still hasn't figured out how to get rushing quarterbacks. Oh, damn it, I rushed upfield too far. Oh, damn it, I rushed upfield too far. Like, come on, man. You know what's going to happen. Quarterbacks are not always going to be at the point when you hit it. Like, oh, he's just going to stand there. I'm going to do my little whirly bird and I'm going to be. No, he might step forward. Oh, my God, it happens so many times with this team. Him and Armstead's just kind of running, running 6'7" and not a real attempt to catch the quarterback. Oh, it drives me insane. Like, can we just have a defensive tackle who just blows up the guard and center and just pops the quarterback?
I mean, I feel like that's what Hargrave's been doing, but he hasn't been doing as much. So the first 3 weeks of the season, Hargrave, that's what he was just like cooking it up, man. He was killing.
See what happens when you miss on draft picks like Javon Kinlaw?
Oh, man.
What's he
Speaking
been doing?
Javon Kinlaw, Aaron, so I want to get back to Chase Young because we haven't talked about it enough. I'm
Go right ahead.
So excited that we got Chase Young. Okay.
So am I.
But the big
I'm just not showing it.
The big question everybody's asking is, what number is he going to wear? Is he going to go into Javon Kinlaw's locker next week and say, "Yo, mother, I want that 99. I need that 99," because he wears that. What do you think?
I heard you got bigger balls than a beat reporter. Well, mine are bigger than yours. Give me that 99.
Give me that 99. I'm Chase Young. Stand on business. What number? I got a prediction that I got, but what do you think?
1.
1?
Give me number 1.
Give me 1.
I want him to be 99. Slap around Kinlaw. Be like, yeah, big balls, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think do Oklahoma drills.
That'd be great. I think he's going to be okay. So he wore 9 in high school. He wore 2 in college. 90. I think he's going to be 92. He's going to combine 9 and 2, be 92.
Little Kerry Hyder action.
Yeah, little Kerry Hyder number. He's not on the team anymore, so I feel like the number's available. I don't think he wants to take any numbers from players. I don't think he wants to be that guy. I think he wants to come in and be a good teammate and pick a new number.
Oh, I was going to say he could take the old Charles Haley number 94, but Clellan, I don't know nothing.
Farrell has 94.
Right. 97. Who's wearing 97?
That's Nick Bosa. Come on, my boy.
Oh, that's right. Oh, sorry. Sorry, guys. Sorry. Don't freaking yell at me.
Oh, my God. I think he's going to wear 92 because it combines his 2 numbers from high school and college, and that's what he'll say. So if you guys next week, when he drops his number and Chase Young says it, when he says it and we post it on Instagram, he says, "Oh, well, I chose 9 because in high school I wore 9, in college I wore 2, so I made it 92." When he says it, I want you to remember I said it before anybody else.
Too bad he can't be 11 like Micah Parsons.
Oh, yeah, because BA has number 11.
He should wear 96. So 96, that's like Dennis Brown's old number.
96, 97.
96. So Dana Stubblefield was 94 as well, right?
Yeah.
Man. Wasn't like Jason Engelberger years ago, like number 95?
I think he
He
was
was some way.
95. Yeah.
What
Yeah.
was the Cowboy? He was 94 as well, too,
94,
right?
94. Yeah. Yeah.
94 is a special
It's
number.
a good
He should wear
number. Yeah.
Frank Tom Ocean, I agree with you. He should wear number 1.
I like number 1. I think I've heard some people say that.
It would
Number
look
1's pretty
mad
cool.
sleek. It would look mad sleek. I don't know if he's going to.
I
That's
like
kind of my
that.
guess. Number
Okay.
9, somebody says, VZ says number 9.
I think someone has number 9. The tight end, the rookie tight end.
TJ Gray says epic fail. I know. I'm sorry.
I know.
My brain's. I'm washed. I'm
It's
done.
late
Man.
over there. It's late over there on the East
Yeah,
Coast.
it's almost 10 o'clock.
I feel bad when we stream. This man's like streaming at midnight. I'm just coming home having dinner.
Bashar sometimes does that to me. He's like, Aaron, you want to stream? It's like 12. I'm like, no, it's 9 in Eastern time. And he's like, bro, it's 12. He's like, oh yeah. I'm like, I wish I lived on the West Coast with all y'all. Then we could, stream whenever.
It's the West Coast is the best coast. It really is.
I know. I'm an East Coaster.
Yeah.
Womack is number 0. 9 is gold. I mean, you could use that unless they're saving it for him.
No, they got a tight end has number 9. The rookie tight end.
Braden Willis.
Braden Willis has number 9. Yeah.
Always Drip says if he signs with us next year, it's a big if he wants to get paid, he won't sign here.
Oh yeah, because the Niners got a lot of money that they got to pay other players, Hufanga, Brandon Ayuk, stuff like that. They got a lot of players. What's up, Laura? Yeah, again, it's one of those things. Is if he wants to play here, they really got to see if he's worth it. So this is a big trial period. This is a rent and see. We'll see if he goes. I hope they keep him around. I think he's going to play good. I'd like to see Bosa and Young for a while. Yeah.
Question for you. If Brandon Ayuk continues to struggle this year, do the Niners trade him pre-draft?
Well, they can't trade him after this. Well, I guess they technically can because he has the 5th-year option. But here's the thing. He's going to have a career year, which is wild because he's going to get over 1,500 yards receiving because he's been the number 1 option receiving, and they've had injuries and stuff. So that the stats are going to be very deceiving. That he's going to have actually big numbers, but what Ted is saying is, yeah, he's been playing the way he's playing right now, dropping passes, key passes. In my book, I would not want to pay him because he's dropping big passes. Yes, he's going to rack up stats. I might consider it. And I love Brandon Ayuk. But at the end of the day, this man needs to be about clutchness. And he hasn't been playing clutch because he said in the offseason, I'm going to take off. I'm going to be that guy. He's had so many opportunities. Debo's been out, and he's had opportunities to become this guy and elevate himself. And he's struggled. Like against the Vikings. Like I know he had a good first half, and he disappeared in the second half. And people are like, oh, he wasn't getting the ball. He was open. Watch that game. They bracketed this man. If you're a top receiver, you're going to get open. You're going to find ways to get open.
How many times did Jerry Rice get bracketed and still get open?
That's what I'm saying, man. It's not an excuse, man, because everybody's like, oh, well, he this, that, the other. They gave him every excuse. But look, I love the guy. Same thing with Bosa.
Oh, he's getting this. He's getting chips. So do all the best pass rushers, people.
Look at TJ Watt tonight.
They're all getting clipped and cracked and dropped and smacked. And they're still finding ways to hit quarterbacks. I'm sick of the Bosa. Bosa needs to stop acting like a little crybaby.
You're so mad at Bosa this year, man. You hate him.
He held out. He held out. And then he's saying, I guess it might have something to do with it. You think?
Yo, again, you're out of shape. I was.
You're out of shape. Not in muscle shape. You look fantastic for an underwear model. Weirdo. But you're sitting there and you're talking about, I think maybe I should have been here for training camp. No, really?
Listen. I want to say something about Bosa. I know a lot of people are mad about the underwear model stuff. Like, I get it. I'm mad too. Like, you should be focusing on football. But listen, if Kim Kardashian calls you, Aaron, if Kim Kardashian calls you and says, hey, Nicholas John Bosa, we're running this new ad campaign. It's called Skims for Men. I'm going to pay you $3 million to stand in your underwear. Will you do? Hell yeah, give me the 3. Run me my check, Aaron. So
if I had his body, probably $3 million.
I'm not mad at him for doing it because you would do it too for a check. I'm not mad at him. It's the timing.
Kim Kardashian is so dirty, though. She's gross.
It's the timing of when it dropped, I think, is what's irritating about it. But, bro, go get your bag, man. Go get your bag, my guy.
I don't have a problem with getting his bag or anything. But now it's time to put up or shut up. No more excuses.
Yeah, okay. You got to
I'm
perform.
sick
Yeah.
of the talk. Oh, people are like, oh, he's got a great pass rush grade. His rush rates or his win. I don't care.
Yeah.
What does that even mean?
I know. I see all the stats every week. I see people, Nick Bosa leading in this and that. I'm like, oh, well, it
Who
doesn't
gives a
matter
crap?
because he's not getting to the quarterback. You can be the greatest pass rush win rate percenter of all time. You can have all the pressures in the world. But if you have 2.5 sacks and you're getting paid the amount of money he's getting paid, I don't care what your PFF stats say because
Bro, that last touchdown against the Bengals.
in my mind, he's getting nothing. That touchdown where Mixon runs off the corner, he just looks at it, he goes, it's like he just dove on the ground, bro.
I'm not going to put this on the screen, Randy Daytona, but okay. Apparently okay. Anyways, Blood Moon says not to bust nuts, pause, but Bust Law needs to give up 99, 100%.
So put that, those bras are wild. I saw them. I did see them.
She invented bras that give girls permanent hard nipples.
Yeah,
It's
crazy.
But we're not allowed to look at women, so that's really gross, right?
Oh,
we're bad. We're not supposed to stare at them. Like, how do you expect me not to when that's the case?
I know.
Anyways,
anywho, we got to get this back on track, Aaron. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm excited about Chase Young. I don't know about you.
I'm excited about Chase Young too, but I want to see the rest of the defense kind of look like just play better, man. Do you think him moving down to the sideline, Wilks, is even going to do anything? I think it doesn't.
See, that's what I said. I said this last week because everybody's like, oh, put him on the field, make him have eye contact, make him communicate with players.
Yeah, but he's like really curmudgeon-y.
But this is the thing. If he's a bad coach, it's not going to change how, it's not going to, just because he's on the field doesn't all of a sudden give him superpowers as a coach. Like, if you're bad, you're bad. Whether you're up in the sky, whether you're on the ground in Timbuktu. This was my analogy last week. I said, look, if you spray paint a black cat white, he's still a black cat. It doesn't change the fact. Just because you masked him, like if you put Steve Wilks down on the field and he's a bad defensive coordinator, it doesn't change that he's a bad defensive coordinator because he's on the field. Now you get to look him in the eyes and tell him he's a bad defensive coordinator. It's really all it is. I don't think
the fact that Kyle Shanahan had to talk to him before the bye week, and now when a press person brought up like, "Hey, do you think maybe it's something we'll discuss?"
Yeah,
There was a report from another YouTuber, Ryan Hensley. He had a stream out the other day, and some people have people they know that are in the know. It says that some of the players are not really too in love with Wilks, and Kyle's vibe when he talks about Wilks, I don't get the idea that he's too in love with Wilks either.
I don't either. I don't think they like him. I think, again, what I said earlier is, I think Kyle was misled by Steve Wilks. I think Wilks told him lip service. I think Wilks told him, "Oh yeah, we're gonna keep the scheme together." He told him everything he needed to hear. He told him everything he needed to hear, and now he's not doing exactly what he needs to. What he needs to do. He's changing the scheme. I think you could tell, in his voice, body language, when Kyle's up there talking about Steve Wilks, he just sounds like he's so sick of him. He sounds like he's putting Steve Wilks in his doghouse. If you're in Kyle Shanahan's doghouse, that's not the place you want to be.
He's like, oh, wow, Drake Jackson's in here too. What the hell? Isaiah Oliver, Ayuk's return. No, that's a pretty full.
It's like a special. He goes like on practice days. There's like a separate booth, and he tells them, okay, you go in this booth, you go in this booth, this locker room section, this guy, and then you walk in on the doghouse. They're like, how come? Where's the rest of the team? Where's the rest of the team? Where? Oh,
Peter Griffin. Wait a minute. Where's the other guy?
Have a special meeting with us. It's like Harry Potter. Oh, we're in Gryffindor. Oh, yeah,
we're the suck ass crew. We suck.
The B team.
Always Drip says stubborn Kyle Shanahan should have just got Vic Fangio. You know what? I do disagree, Drip, because my brother's a Dolphins fan and he's been doing suck. He's been sucking in Miami. He ain't been doing that great. So,
well, the thing with Fangio, again, the big reason Kyle said he didn't get Fangio was, and this is what we talked about, was Fangio was going to change the scheme system because he runs a whole different defensive system.
Yeah, he runs a 3-4.
He runs a 3-4, and he wanted a lot of money. And I think Kyle was able to get Wilks for a lot cheaper. So, A, you get a bargain. B, you get a guy. They thought Wilks was going to keep the system the same. and they didn't. So I think in retrospect, if they were to go back and do things again, knowing what they know now, I think they would have went in for Vic Fangio. I think they would. But he's also in the booth. Everybody that's crying that Steve Wilks is not on the field, Vic Fangio coaches from the booth too. So let's put that into perspective. Although I think Vic Fangio is way better than Steve Wilks.
John V says, I came in here where Kim offered Aaron $3 million to model her hard-nippled bra while wearing Bosa's pre-worn undies. What the fuck are we talking about? That's not what happened.
That's
You're
not
making
exactly
up
what happened.
That's kind of a twist on the story.
That's like
what
that.
They were saying. They said, if I was offered $3 million, that I would definitely model the underwear from Kim Kardashian. I would. I mean, I would be the dad bod version of the ad.
Oh,
this would be like reality, Aaron's body, fantasy, Nick Bosa's.
Yeah, the remix of it. Yeah, that's like that game Telephone where you call someone, you tell them something, and then whatever you say at the end is way different from the beginning.
Yeah, I'm not wearing somebody's dirty draws either, so
that's
you
gross.
Can stop that. That's nasty.
That's gross.
Like the people that get draws from girls on OnlyFans, like that's who does that? Come on, people.
Weirdos.
Yeah, y'all are weird. Let me see here. We talked really about everything I got here.
I got one more thing I'll bring up, and then we can wrap it up. So it was thrown around on Twitter. We're talking about Steve Wilks. We're talking about the defense. So someone asked, I think somebody posted, what are your thoughts on Richard Sherman if he was ever to come a DC? Yes. And then Richard Sherman replied. He says, look, so let me pull up what he actually said. He had a pretty good response of, if the 49ers were to ask him to be a DC. He goes, Richard Sherman says, the answers are in the building, as Kyle said, because that's what Kyle said. He says, I would try to do my best if asked, but there is no world where they would ever or should ever pass over the incredible men that are in the building to hire someone with no coaching experience in the middle of the season. I agree with that part. He says, while I'm flattered by the support and belief from the faithful, I trust John and Kyle to find the solutions to the issues and get the defense back on track. And now, this is a guy that I think people see him as a coach because he kind of was a coach when he was a player. He was a very smart, veteran, savvy guy. You saw him coaching on the sidelines, so they see him as a coach. He's smart. You've heard him on his volume
podcast. Would he have the patience, though?
I think he will. If you've watched him on his podcast, he's really smart. He always says what we're thinking. He's saying all the things that the 49er fans and content creators are basically saying, like they got to rush, cover 4 rush, or rush 4 cover back. Like all the stuff he's saying is what I think Niner fans, when they're watching the game, is like, dude, it makes sense. Richard Sherman sees it. He would be a good coach. I think eventually he'd be a good DB coach because I think what he said was right. Is you can't just hire somebody without any coach experience to just take over a defensive coordinator position. I think Sherman's smart. I think eventually he would be a great coach in this league, coordinator, whatever the case is. But I think initially, he has to learn the ropes. He has to figure it out, be a position coach, because like you said, would he have the patience? He has to learn that patience because I think sometimes he'd just want to go out there and fix it. Maybe he'd want to throw the helmet on himself and go out there and play. You know what I mean? So I think if he could figure out how to become a position coach one day and then evolve from there, that'd be great for him. But I love what he's doing with his podcast and his social media work and everything.
He's really good.
He's good analyst,
Really good. Julius Callaway said, Bosa is this year what happened to Debo last year. No need to worry. He picked it up at the end. He picked it back up. I hope so. I hope you're right. I hope it's not just Bosa. It's Hargrave. It's Armstead. It's Greenlaw. It's Warner. It's Hufanga. They're all playing bad. The whole defense is playing bad.
All of them. They're all playing bad.
It's a crap sandwich right now. And it's everybody, the most important guys are the most, the newsworthy guys are the ones that always get blamed. And it's always, the coach or the quarterback or, the star pass rusher or whatever. That's just how it goes. And that's why they make the big money. It's either sink or swim. Either we come out of this bye week and we swim, or the pressure of trying to repeat what we did last year and the year before is too much for us and we stink.
Yeah, I agree.
We have too much talent in that building to come out and lay an egg in the second half of the season. They come out and they have a losing record in the second half of the season. Anything's on the table. Moving.
Yeah.
I said something earlier. I said something the other day. I want to ask you. I said this on the Monday stream with Niners Coast to Coast. you ever consider, people say windows, they come and they go, they went, they open, they close. This current roster, this current clique of players hasn't gotten it done. Okay, say they don't get it done again this year. Do you start making any wholesale changes to this roster and say, oh, you know what, this guy hasn't worked, we're gonna move him out of here, or you know, a guy like Juszczyk, saying goodbye to him, a guy like Trent Williams, I love you to death, but you got to go. We got to leave. I don't know. Javarius Ward, does he get the axe and they, I don't know, bring in some? They wouldn't, but I just like eventually. I mean, if you keep falling short with the same players, I feel like you got to do something. You can't just stand pat every year and just bring back the same guys.
Yeah,
Isn't that the definition of insanity?
I mean, at the end of the day, because then if they do win it all, we're gonna be like, man, I wish we would have got this guy a ring. Like, you know how many times we sit here and said like, oh, I wish Patrick Wilks would have got a ring, Joe Staley, like all these guys, because you fall in love with these players. So the fan in me is like, yeah, you want to keep these guys, let them run it back, see if they can finally get it done. Because if they win, if they get, if they lose this year and don't figure it out, and then next year they come on back, run it back, and then they win it, it'd be like so sweet because you're like, man, these guys fought so hard every single year. But on the other side of it, I do think that, yeah, maybe if all these guys that you have every single year, you get to a point and then you just fall apart, maybe there is something wrong. Maybe you do need to make a change. Maybe it's certain players. So then, yeah, get rid of some players, bring in some new talent. Maybe there's somebody else that could do something better than the guys you have, So I think it's not out of the question that if they don't win it all this year, they make some shakeups, and I still think they'll be a contending team because they got a great roster. The core, they'll keep the core like a Fred Warner. You're not going to get rid of Fred Warner, and Nick Bosa. Obviously, you can't get rid of Nick Bosa now, but you're not going to get rid of those guys, Christian McCaffrey. But you might get rid of a Kittle. You might get rid of a Kyle Juszczyk. You might get rid of a Dre Greenlaw. Like, as much as you don't want to, you might make a shakeup here and there.
Yeah, it's so hard to move on from players.
It's tough, man. Your emotions, you get so emotionally invested. Yeah,
right. Blood Moon says no, you can't get rid of Trent, but Trent's always hurt. Trent never completes a season.
This is the thing about Trent, Aaron, and I love Trent Williams.
So do I.
This is the thing. How many more years can we expect Trent Williams to play? He's played, 13, 14 seasons in the league?
And he's always beat up.
Because he's playing a tough position and he plays
and he's
it so
big
well.
Guy.
Yeah.
Big guy. They always say big guys with like their lower extremities, big offensive linemen like him always have issues.
A lot of pressure on the joints, but he misses 2 games a year. He's good to miss 2 to 3 games a year, which that's cool, man. Whatever. But at some point, Trent is going to be gone, whether we like it or not. They need to start figuring out what they're going to do with life after Trent, because Joe Staley, same thing. The reality was he was going to leave at some point, and they had to figure out what are they going to do without life after Joe. They got Trent Williams. Now, what are we going to do without Trent Williams when he's gone? Like, I hope
there's other offensive tackles in the league. 49er minded. Do not wish that evil upon me.
This is what I want the 49ers to do. This offseason, I need them to go and make a move and trade for Tristan Wirfs. Go get Tristan Wirfs. And if Trent Williams does retire,
yeah,
especially if he rides off in the sunset, go get Tristan Wirfs, my guy. John Lynch, I'm telling you now,
first round pick.
This is November of 2023. Go get Tristan Wirfs for Trent Williams when the time comes. That's it. That's my pitch.
And I know you're watching, John. Pick, give it up.
And now I know John Lynch is watching because he did get Chase Young for us.
We're gonna put a spell on him. 49er Minus says if we win the Super Bowl this year, Bosa, we should do Aaron wants to do. I'm gonna do a song with Travis King. No more cheesy 49er songs, man. I'm sick of them all.
No.
Stop with the 49er songs. Stop it.
No.
We don't need people rapping and stop. I hate it.
Why? Why does everybody rap about why is there like 30 49er rappers? Like, look, there's like 400 49er content creators, Aaron, and there's about 399 49er rappers.
Yeah, I think the 49ers content creators and the 49ers rappers is like 1-to-1.
That's what I'm saying. 399 to 400. It's almost 1-to-1 ratio, dude.
Yeah, everybody's rapping. How about we do a rap about how we never win it?
We never. Oh, let's go, Aaron. You got the. We gotta make a song. How we never win it. I love it.
The Niners are the ultimate cock tease. Yeah, the Niners are ultimate. They are cock tease. You got to tell me that's not. Tell me if we made a rap and call them the Niners, it'll be called the Niners anthem, the ultimate cock tease team. We'll have Nick Bosa in his undies as the front of the album. Yeah,
that's gonna sell so much just for that.
They are, man. Tell me. No, guys, I'm kidding. Like, I'm just listen. I've been very mad today. I'm moody. I'm in a moody mood. So everybody's feeling my wrath, including 49er rappers. It's just like sometimes I'm on Twitter and I'm looking up stuff or on Instagram or something, and all of a sudden I see a rap song and it's just like,
Someone in the chat says every 49er content creator, I think John said it, will have their own rapper. So I wonder who I'm gonna get. I don't know, man. I just give me I don't know.
Mine would be I'm trying to think. Who is that? Who's that white dude that used to have the grill? He was like a heavy set guy.
I don't know.
No, not Country Grammar. Forget his name. Paul Wall or something.
Oh, you're talking about real rappers. I thought you meant like actual 49er rappers. Yeah. I guess Locksmith will be my guy. He's my guy. So me and Lock, we'll make he'll
Bubba
be my
Sparks.
Guy.
Thank you.
Bubba Sparks. Oh my God. That's funny. That's hilarious, man.
Sorry, guys.
Oh, Aaron, any last comments, questions, thoughts?
I really, really hope that we see both Luter and Womack on the field against the Jacksonville Jaguars. At least one of them.
I think we'll get I don't know if we'll get them back, but I think next week they're be returned to practice. They'll have their practice window open, whatever the case is. I think next week we'll get some good news. I think next week's gonna be a really good set of news. Debo will come back. I think we'll have a lot of cool updates next week. I mean, the 49ers won on the bye week. They got Chase Young. Now let's see if they can win in an actual week, not just the bye week. But yeah, I'm excited. I think Chase Young's brought some adrenaline, some juice. He brought some needed juice to the 49ers. So, and it gave content creators a lot to talk about, which is great. So, yeah, I'm happy, hyped up. Keep following the channel. For those that are following Aaron's channel, nice to see you guys. For those that are on my channel, hop on over to Aaron's channel. You know, we both do this. We go live once a week. And make sure you support us both. We both work hard. And, you know, we try to do our best out here. So appreciate all the support. Thanks for everybody in the chat. You know, we love you.
Right. We love you. And I think I'm going to change my rapper as we get out of here.
Okay.
My rapper is, oh my God, I just forgot who it was. It's, what the hell? I forgot. Damn it. Not Imposter. No, it would be the white nerdy song from freaking Weird Al. That's my song.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll take Weird Al.
Weird Al.
White nerdy. That's totally my song because I try to figure out who's the best captain.
Okay. There we go.
Is it Hard or is it Shatner, William Shatner or whatever?
White and nerdy. I like it. I think that's there we go. That's a good one.
All right, everybody.
You guys have a good rest of your night.
Take care, everybody. Have a great rest of your night. I'll see you next week. Peace.